It's so great hearing that and seeing that music video and everything. Welcome to a live version of the Battleground podcast. Normally you hear us talk every week on Mondays about wrestling, but tonight is a big night. WWE Survivor Series going down in about an hour, but we decided we want to do a live show with you guys and let you chime in on what's going on. But I'm going to do this, and let's bring in all the guests on the show tonight. Look at all these faces. It's the Battle Gals.
Woo! Hey, guys.
How are y'all doing tonight?
Super excited, ready for Survivor Series. Let's go. Like, I'm hyped.
Oh, me too. I'm like super excited. As you can tell, I've got my...
I couldn't tell. What?
Right? Yowie, wowie.
It's gonna be a good night, and of course it's also gonna be kind of, I don't know if I would say a sad night, but the retirement of the Undertaker happening tonight, 30 years. Why do I feel like something's gonna happen that somebody's gonna ruin it?
Because clearly it's gonna happen.
Something is gonna happen and it's gonna ruin it. You never know though what is gonna happen, but I feel like this could be the perfect opportunity, maybe, to see the Fiend just kind of confront, the Undertaker. Maybe. I mean, he's not doing anything tonight. Why not just have him show up just for like the big pop? Like, oh my God, the Fiend's there.
Yeah, I would be obviously super excited about that. And have y'all seen my girls know I like the tea. I like the rumors. So have you seen the people talking about the Firefly Funhouse episode with the clock that says 1911, which the Undertaker debuted November 19th, 1990, I believe. So it's kind of a play on when he debuted. So is that a sign? Are we reaching here? I don't know.
It wouldn't put it past WWE to bring out Bray to do something. At least, I'm not saying Bray needs to put the Undertaker and Sister Abigail, none of that stuff. I don't think that needs to happen. I think they just need to kind of go face to face. He comes out there, whatever, lights go off, Bray's in his face, blah, blah, blah. They kind of do their thing, stare down, boom, lights go off, and Undertaker's in the ring. And Bray's gone, or we just put like Undertaker's hat and gloves like he did at WrestleMania, which I thought was the end. I thought we were done with Undertaker there.
Right. We always think it's his last ride, and it's not.
I'm still waiting for the official Undertaker and John Cena match. Like, we kind of had it, of WrestleMania, but it didn't really happen. I'm waiting for that. So until I get that official John Cena Undertaker, like a really good match, then he can retire. Until then, I'm not letting him go, okay? He's still got to be there. Go up, put in his hours, clock in and out. Let's go.
I'm just still waiting on the American Badass Undertaker to show up. That's what I want.
Yes, bring back some Limp Bizkit, Rollin'.
Yes, and I'm
here for it.
For a brief second, that's what we were getting at WrestleMania against AJ Styles. Like, when he pulled up, I was like, it's about to be American Badass.
Rolling.
Or Kid Rock was going to start doing it. But kudos to Metallica for doing the Undertaker thing. But that was awesome that we got a glimpse of it. I just was wishing it was the American Badass Undertaker.
Are we expecting to see him like actually there tonight, or do you think they're going to do like some type of video montage or like live from Zoom as the Undertaker? We know he's very tech savvy these days.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he shows up as like Uncle Grandpa Undertaker, like he showed up in the People magazine. And Eli texted to me, and I was like, "That's like Dad Undertaker. That's not the Undertaker that we've seen." Like, he's sitting there in just like t-shirt and shorts, probably wearing some Crocs. And
no,
I'm wearing Crocs right now.
And
pleasure.
It was just interesting to see that as Undertaker. So I feel like either we're gonna get a choke slam or a tombstone to somebody. Now, who is it gonna be? Who knows? But
could you imagine? Instead of having put Lana through tables, they're gonna have her take the tombstone.
That girl. She can't catch a break, can she?
No. Hypothetically, what if at the end, and we'll start kind of breaking down some of the matches, what if she's the last one standing for the Women's Survivor Series?
I've heard this theory so many times today, and I'm almost at the point where I'm like, should I start believing this? Like, is this actually going to happen? A lot of people think this is going to happen tonight.
I think if any time it's going to happen, and we talked about this, me and Eli, we kind of did a prediction show with we also had Drew McIntyre on the show Friday. I thought the way you could have this set up, and Eli made a valid point that this is her match to lose, but I think Bianca Belair is the final person standing. Like,
Amen.
the promos that they've been giving her, and like highlight reel, and of course her never winning the NXT Women's Championship, which was a bummer. I think tonight's the night that she gets the W, and that's what she uses as her, like, well, I carried the team. I carried this, because we all want, and we all know at WrestleMania, it's got to be Sasha versus Bianca.
Yes. That would be the ultimate payout to this storyline.
It's got to be.
Bianca has, with all those video packages that she's had, like, she's a star. We know it. We were deprived from her championship reign in NXT. And I was really hoping that she was going to come for Bayley once she hit SmackDown. But now we have Survivor Series, and I think she could be that one to be the shining star out of all of this. I know Bayley says she's team captain, but I think Bianca can really shine here.
Yeah, I think we're all ready to see that for sure. And they're probably trying to throw us off the trail, making us think it's going to be Lana with her WWE Chronicles video coming out to get a little bit more sympathy. But like, for her, what are they going to do with her if she doesn't win this? Like, I don't know. I'm starting to feel bad for her. Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be. She's got to win. Like, Eli made it very vocal that this is her match to lose. She's got to win. Bianca, if it's not Bianca, then who is it? Lana is the other option, I think.
You think? I don't know. It could go a lot of ways. We have a lot of women match. I really hope it's not like Lacey, the last woman standing. They could even try to do Peyton. They've been trying to ever since they split up the Iconics. That's one way that could also go. Maybe Natty takes everything, and Natty has been done dirty since day one in WWE. So give Natty a chance too. Who knows? There's a lot of ways that this could go down tonight.
As long as it's not Bayley, I've got to throw that out there, because I'm tired of her run. So
it could be anybody except Bayley.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't see it being Bayley. It's got to be Bianca. Like, I'm going to ride on this right now. It's got to be Bianca. Like,
I'll put money on Bianca. Yes.
If we put it out, it will happen.
Exactly. Out in the universe.
Yes. Manifest.
And maybe I'm jumping the gun here a little bit, but another little rumor I saw. What if Charlotte Flair comes back, jumps in on Team Raw, and wins it for Team Raw?
I was kind of thinking that would happen with Naomi. I was hoping it would. Because we have her time, and we know that she's doing meet and greets and stuff with Cricket. So is this her time to come back? Is someone going to get injured?
Oh my gosh.
Somebody's got to get jumped in the pre-show. Somebody's got to get
someone's getting jumped.
This is what's happening. Somebody's going to get jumped, and then it's going to happen that way. So we're just going to kind of go all around the thing. Of course, it's just a weird thing, because you look at just the entire team of the Women's Survivor Series. Of course, you got Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Lana. And then, of course, you've got Bianca, Ruby, Liv, Bayley, and Natalya. Now, I said this the other day on the show, because we recorded before SmackDown happened. I was thinking that on Team SmackDown, we would have gotten Billie Kay on the team. And then kind of set it up, because WWE was what I never understood was splitting up the Iconics. And then you have them come back to just be there with each other, but not as a tag team. And then you put Peyton Royce with Lacey Evans. Like, it's the oddest pairing ever.
Yeah, I know we talked, the ladies and I talked about that last time. Just odd, mismatched teams, especially on Raw. And the fact that they broke up the Iconics just to do this. Why? And to also lose that awesome theme song.
Yes.
Billie Kay is doing her thing, though. She has her headshot. She has her resume. She is ready to go in an instant.
She has the most impressive resume, because if you flip it over, it's her headshot. I'm like, I would hire her. I would hire her.
I know she's queen status right now, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting night because of course what's great about the pay-per-views, and it sucks that a pandemic had to happen, but the pay-per-views have gotten much shorter, so it doesn't seem like it's dragged out. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches, give or take. And apparently there's a dual brand battle royal kicking the show off. So 7 matches, pay-per-view is usually over like 9 o'clock, give or take, Central Time. Whereas before you knew it was going till at least 11, close to midnight, depending on where you're at. So that's the good thing I like about that is they're shortening up the pay-per-views. Because if you've ever been to a WrestleMania, you know it drags out. Like you're there for 13 hours, what feels like. You get there early because, well, there's not much else to do before the thing. So you're there early and you're just sitting. And the next thing you know, you've already spent like $5,000 on the whole trip. And that's just 3 hot dogs and a beer at the arena, you know. But I like that they're shortening everything up more, and it's where they're not forcing thousands of matches in one thing just because, oh, well, so-and-so doesn't have TV time, which sucks for the people that don't have TV time. But it also shows that WWE's like, okay, well, we're not going to force a match together just to put a match out there.
That's true. They don't have people booing anymore. So they're just like, oh, okay, since we've reduced that time of audience cheering, audience booing, we're controlling the sound, we can get more stuff in.
Yeah. And we don't have CM Punk chants either.
Oh, that's true.
Very true.
I mean, if you've ever been to a WWE show, it's always CM Punk. See, or the one that always gets me, because every show we've been to, even if it's not a WWE show, somebody has to do the woo. Like it always happens. And then when one person does it,
everyone does it.
Everybody.
Yep.
Like, guys, we gotta stop. Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, so kind of moving on to we're gonna just kind of jump around. So we've got the women's champions. We're gonna go ahead and just stay with the women's because that's the most important thing, because I think that these 2 matches are gonna be the one that steals the show tonight. And we're talking about Asuka and Sasha Banks. The match that we've all kind of been wanting to see. The thing that's going to be really hard about this is how do you book this and who loses? Because you can't have both your top people lose.
Right. And I know a lot of people are wondering if maybe Asuka will take a heel turn to keep Sasha face. I could see that happening. Although I'm kind of rooting for Sasha. I don't know about you guys.
I'm rooting for Sasha as well, but I have a theory that Carmella might get involved here just because we've seen her attack Sasha so many times now, and this would be the perfect, opportunity for her to strike again and lead into them going into their eventual feud together.
Yeah, I'm also rooting for Sasha. It's a Sasha, 3 for 3. Let's go. Asuka, I think Asuka and Sasha have put together some great matches in the past. So I'm really glad that we get to see them again because there's just so many things that they could do with it. And I do also think that Carmella might get involved because she's been a little shady these past weeks. So I wouldn't.
She has.
Pull off that wig, y'all. That's all I see now. When I see her, when she comes out, it's just like, I'm just like, fix the
wig. Oh man. But it's very tough. And you could go back and hear kind of what me and Eli had talked about on the show Friday. It's very tough in these matches to book your 2 top people together because you don't want either one of them to lose, but you also don't want every match to end in a disqualification or a count out. But it's like, how do you make Asuka, who hasn't really done, like you've kind of just left it there on the shelf. Like right after she got the title from Becky Lynch, I mean, there was inklings of a lot of stuff going on. And then of course, Selena Vega is gone, which that's for a different episode that we can discuss later. So you thought, okay, maybe that could be the next person. And then that happened. And then it's like, okay, who's Asuka going to go against on Raw? Like there's not anybody at the moment. unless you're gonna do the thing where it's like, oh, we feel bad for Lana. She's been going through the table. She's overcome everything, and now we're gonna give her a title shot or something.
Yeah, and possibly, I wonder if Rhea Ripley is about to make her way back to Raw.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I wonder what role NXT might play tonight, because they've been involved in the past, and I'm kind of upset that they're not here this time.
I know. Same.
Team, before, and I don't know, we could be getting a Rhea in getting involved in one of these matches tonight.
It's I mean, I'd like to see Rhea come back. I mean, up there, bring her there, because there's not much on the Raw roster, to be completely honest.
Right.
It's like who do you put against Asuka? We've already seen Asuka and Charlotte numerous times, which I'm still trying to figure out the whole why did you make Asuka streak end at WrestleMania with Charlotte? Like, why couldn't it just continue going? But that's a different story for a different day. But it's like, what is there for Asuka to do?
Yeah, what's next for her?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. What do y'all think is going to be next for Asuka? Because I mean, after this match, I mean, that Bayley's going to somehow interfere, or as I called her on the show, Carmelina, because Carmella's got this new gig where it's like Emma, where she's doing that stuff, and this is like, you look at it, and it's kind of like, okay, well, that was Charlotte Bordeaux's old Impact gear.
Oh yeah.
Except in red.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, what you bring her back. So what's going to happen? It's like, she getting a title shot? Is she going to cost, Sasha the match tonight? Is Bayley are we going to get a triple threat? Cause they love doing those kind of matches.
Yeah, they do.
You know what? Just include all the women. I'm here for it. It doesn't matter if we get a triple threat. Just give me more women, give me more matches. Let's do that. Candice LeRae could get involved. I don't care. Bring more women.
There we go.
That'd be fun.
I would love to see some NXT talent involved, and I'm very convinced that NXT is not happy that they're not involved, even though we haven't heard anything. But think about it. Last year they won a majority of the matches. So how would how would you feel this year? You're not even included. Like,
I know it's like almost like a double-edged sword, because NXT has the most viewers than Raw and SmackDown. So to get called up, it's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Am I what's happening?
Conflicted. I don't know. Of course, it's the main roster, but is it?
But is it for NXT stars?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Well, we know a lot of NXT stars like Tommaso, they don't want to go up to Raw or SmackDown. They are strictly
Don't put me there. I'm quitting if you put me there.
Exactly.
Right. And I'm not mad about that. I've only been to an NXT show once, but it was so much fun because you're so close. Minus the fact there's no beer sales. Whatever. I snuck some minis in. Don't tell the people at NXT, but it was a fun night.
That maybe Asuka does turn heel tonight, because that's just something that adds to her. As long as they don't do something that takes away from her, like if they have her submit to Sasha, I don't know.
It's not believable, Like,
right.
You can't make her look weak.
Exactly. And so real quick, I'm going to bring a buddy of mine on the show. He goes by the name of Josh. Josh, are you there with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Josh is a very good friend of mine, and he is a big wrestling nerd just like me. He is based out of the Washington area. He is an iHeart DJ, so he's going to kind of jump on as well. He is one of our first special guests on the show tonight. So, Josh, we kind of already talked. Yeah, look at that.
No pressure.
To my whole life. But now you validated myself, man. You validated.
I did, and so we've talked about the Women's Survivor Series match. We've been talking about the Asuka and Sasha match. So, kind of give us your quick synopsis thoughts on those two matches of your opinion.
I really like Asuka and I really like Sasha, and it's tough to put. It's tough for me to pick one of them because I like them both so much, and I like their characters in every which way they've been going for the last 6 or 7 months. and it's hard for me to pick. Honestly, like I'm stuck in the middle here. I've contemplated with these matches, and the women's division has gotten so good that now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to pick either one of them because they're both so great, not only from a storyline perspective, but from a performance perspective. And I honestly can't pick one. Like I'm torn. I'm legitimately torn.
See, it's a tough one. It's like telling me to pick which one is my favorite kid. Like, you can't do that.
Are you sure?
You can't do that. So we're gonna kind of, I guess, move on to the next match, and this is one that I'm kind of excited about, is watching the Street Profits take on the New Day, which of course we've had Xavier Woods on our show, awesome guy, and he was just named. He just got an award for Esports of the Year award.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that is going to be a fun match, and that's going to be another tough one of like, who do you put over in this match, especially because, you know, it's going to be a fun match to watch, especially with their personalities. Yeah. So it's like, who do you pick to go over? Like, the obvious choice is Street Profits. The obvious choice is Street Profits. Like, New Day has had their day, like, no pun intended. But I think it has. And there's a reason why they split up. And I was bummed that Big E did not get in the Survivor Series men's match, which we'll talk about that in a second. But I really think that this is the time that the Street Profits get over, even though they're already over to begin with.
I agree. I think the New Day, they can take a loss here. They're multiple time champions, but this is the first time that the Street Profits have held titles in the WWE. So them losing here, it would kind of be a little bit weird. But with the New Day losing, it wouldn't be as bad because they already have their credibility. The Street Profits are still trying to gain that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, we're all big Bianca fans, so may as well keep it up with Montez. He's fabulous, man. Like,
back on that because the Street Profits, to me, the Street Profits are what the New Day were a few years ago, where everyone's getting on the, getting on that bandwagon and saying the lines and, being a part of that call and response with them. And it's like, if the New Day loses, are we really going to sit here and go, well, hell, they should have won? Like, it just seems irrelevant for them to win this match, unless there's, that bigger picture that takes us into the Rumble or Mania, that maybe they're going to do something bigger with these two teams. But at this point, it doesn't make any sense for Street Profits not to win.
And by the way, Montez Ford has probably one of the best looking frog splashes since Eddie Guerrero.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that high. I was like, oh my God.
That was wild.
And it is kind of funny though, especially with all of us knowing what it means. And you see kids going around saying, we want the smoke. And I'm like, do you really know what and it's going back to like, when we had the Godfather on and he talked about how he was the only wrestler to have Ho Train, Pimp Daddy, and weed on his t-shirts.
Yeah.
And of course, when the Godfather was out, we all said, you want to jump on the Ho Train? And we were like, what is that?
With DX, suck it.
Yeah, and DX was sucking. And then, of course, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin with the middle finger. So it's like, you tell these kids now, they're like, we want the smoke. And I'm like,
the smoke.
Okay, little dude, do you know what that means?
They mean smoking their turkey for Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean and they're great. And I think, Vince is kind of seeing it now that even though he is not a big fan of tag team wrestling, which clearly there's not enough tag teams. We need, the Usos back together. I know Jimmy's still hurt. And so I think we need some more tag teams. Don't say, well, let's throw Cesaro and Shinsuke together. Now, it was a great tag team at first on paper. It was great. But when you look at it and you're like, what? Why are we pairing them together? And of course, you read online about the rumors of what was supposed to happen. Somebody went on Twitter and said some stuff and backstage politics and blah, blah, blah. So anyways, but I really need to see Cesaro and Sheamus back together. Yeah. If we get a tag team, I need the Bar back together.
Agreed. I know. I love the Bar.
So it's there's not enough tag teams, and it's like, okay, you have both brands have a tag team. Maybe it's time to I guess, unify the tag teams and just have them go back and forth like they did with the women's tag team champions, and have, that the women's go from SmackDown, Raw, and NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a lot much better, especially since they're all within driving distance from each other. It's not like you're having to hop on a private jet to fly to like California or whatnot.
They can definitely make the trip back and from each brand.
Exactly. And now they're going to Tropicana Phil, which is kind of exciting, because I'm excited for that. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, are they going to, and I'm going to talk about another company on a WWE live thing that we're doing, but are they going to try to do like AEW does, and they set up to where fans can come in? Because let's be honest, we see how the Thunderdome looks in the Amway Center, but how are they going to make it look in a baseball field, in an arena, a stadium? Like, you have enough.
Is it possible that they're just going to put more monitors to get more people? You and I do the Thunderdome all the time.
Exactly.
And we wonder, like, they bump people out, they put people in. Is it a chance for them to put more monitors, bigger monitors, to see people better? Like, I can only imagine it being that. I know it's Florida, and I know they're going to let people in because that's what Florida's doing. But it doesn't make sense to have people there with monitors as well.
Right.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
And, there's enough room that you could space it out. And if WWE is always about making money, you can easily sell tickets to that and space them out.
Yeah. And fill in the missing spots with what, baseball's already doing. It's cardboard cutouts.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And then 3 cutouts and move on.
And I mean, you could sell those on the WWE shop.com. Your cardboard cutout.
Okay, giving out your ideas for free.
I know. WWE, when they listen, they either give us $30 or a year supply of the WWE network. So, I mean,
I'm choosing the ice cream bars. The ice cream bars. I want them.
Yes. Bring back the real ice cream bars, not the newer ones, because those were just still kind of weird. But, I think you could get away with doing something like that. Now, how is it going to look? That's another ball game. But I mean, AEW has done a really good job at bringing fans back into the fold. Of course, they're all social distance. It was really cool when you got to see Chris Jericho come out and everybody was singing Judas. Like, that was an amazing moment. And I'm sitting over here and I've got the WWE network and the fact that Rikishi's there tonight, which makes me think that something good's going to happen. So I have it over here on the TV over here. So I'm just kind of watching.
Do you think he's going to dance, Battle?
If he does not dance, I will cancel my WWE network. Like, he does not dance. But it seems like things are starting to kind of plateau to where fans can go back and do stuff. And I think them moving to Amway Center is a step in that direction. Now, will people travel to see a WWE event if they say, hey, we're going to let in 5,000 people or whatever? Because that place is big enough that you can have fans back.
Right.
I think that they would sign up. People would. They're doing it for AEW. What would be the difference for WWE?
Right. And you don't have to like charge an astronomical price, because I think AEW, their tickets are like $35, which is a normal going rate. Because I know when WWE's done stuff in Nashville, tickets start at like $19. So, I mean, if you could get away with doing that, I mean, I think that's the cool thing. Now it's just getting people to travel to Florida. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. I actually just had a friend that went to an AEW show. He said he ended up spending about $80, but he was right behind the soundboard, so he was very close. And when you walked in, they did it was like a metal detector, but took your temperature, and then they had people walking around telling people to lift up their mask and whatnot. So they did a good job of keeping it safe for everybody. It just makes me wonder about when you're walking into the venue, like, is everybody kind of crowded, or they keep them kind of spread out? That's my only question.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. And it's like, my doppelganger's on TV. Sorry, Sami Zayn's up there.
Your doppelganger.
I know Ticketmaster kind of thought about this, because me and Josh have talked about this. Ticketmaster, it's trying to like work out some kind of thing where you have to prove you've either had the vaccine or you haven't had a fever in 72 hours, which, I think if everybody can do what they're doing and wearing a mask, I think you can go and enjoy a wrestling show. Even if it's outside, it's not going to be that miserable, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in Tropicana Field. I believe there's a roof over that field. If I'm not,
It doesn't open.
Okay, so then you'll be fine because it won't be as bad. But you know, now we're getting off topic of like talking COVID and pandemic and wrestling live shows. So now that I'm looking on TV, and of course there is Sami Zayn sitting up there. Let's kind of talk about Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. And according to CBSSports.com, they called this the mid-card champions.
Oh,
Jeez.
So yeah, I mean,
I don't care about this match. I just don't. It's not for me.
Same. But Sami Zayn, I think, is my pick to win this match.
Same.
I don't want Lashley to win. I don't know. I've just never been a fan of Bobby Lashley. But Sami Zayn, like, he struggled this whole, COVID-19 pandemic situation. He wasn't wrestling. They took away his championship, and he had to come back and kind of like prove himself. Like, hey, I never lost this. This is my time to shine. I'm a better champ than Bobby Lashley because I'm not just the U.S. champ. I'm worldwide, like Titus. In here.
Yes.
That's who I'm rooting for.
I miss Titus. Where's he at?
He's under the ring.
Hey, probably
They didn't come out.
I mean, I don't know where last we saw of Titus was it WrestleMania?
It's WrestleMania, yeah.
The match where he's just like that was the last we saw of Titus. I don't know where he went.
It seems like he does like a lot of philanthropic stuff lately.
I think so. Like he won a lot of awards and stuff too.
Mhm.
Ambassador type stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's the good thing because we've I've had Titus in the studio before, and he's a big dude. Like you see him on TV, and you're like, he's big, whatever. But when you get into this, when they get into the building, you're like, oh, hey, what's up? But I just, I miss Titus. I do miss, the Titus Worldwide, and was it were they were they the primetime players? Was that their name?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Him and Darren Young. Like, maybe bring Darren back. He's had a resurgence on the indie scene right now, and he's doing some stuff for New Japan and a couple other places. So I mean, I could see them coming back. And yeah. Anyways, we got completely off track because we're talking about Titus O'Neil now. Because this is how professional we are. We have kind of like bullet points. But I don't. I sit here and think Sami Zayn, is he going to win? And of course, there's all these things online of Sami Zayn having backstage heat and him being annoying and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, well,
probably.
Do you think the hurt business is involved? I mean, that's literally just without missing a beat. He's probably.
I'm going to be honest here. I dislike Lashley. I didn't like him his first time around. I didn't like him when he left, and I don't like him now. But I know that's the kind of guy that Vince likes. He's big. He's muscular. He's intimidating. That's Vince's dude. And if the truth is about Sammy not being liked, I don't see why Vince wouldn't put Bobby over him. I don't want Lashley to win at all, but I mean, call a spade here. If everything you're saying is true about backstage with Sammy, we always know how that ends up for every professional wrestler.
Exactly. I mean, look at where. Well, there was never mind. I was gonna say somebody, but that was a completely different story. But yeah, I mean, it is. I don't want to get kicked off of WWE or anything like that, or the thing saying we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors kind of thing from WWE. But I don't see Sammy winning this. Like, as much as Sammy is a likable person to certain people, I don't see him winning this. I also see something that maybe the Hurt Business gets involved.
Yeah.
Or here's the spoiler that I'm thinking. Oh, look, the gobbledygooker's on TV now.
Yes.
But I feel as if somehow R-Truth is going to get somehow running through and chasing after the 24/7 title kind of thing. I think that could happen, especially with how amazing R-Truth is. Imagine if R-Truth was like the world heavyweight champion, by the way.
I would love that.
Great,
So great.
Oh yes.
moment.
I mean,
Amen.
it's great. Oh, by the way, R-Truth
amazing.
just lost the 24/7 title to the Gobbledygook.
We'll get it back before the end of tonight.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
But I think I don't see Sammy winning this match at all. It's, you know, Bobby is like Josh said, Bobby is Vince's typical guy. We're all still waiting for the Bobby and Brock Lesnar match. Will it ever happen?
Oh yeah.
Probably not. Just like we all waited for Undertaker and Sting, and that's never gonna happen.
I did see someone mid-say, like, what if Sting came out tonight?
Sting's coming out tonight. What are you talking about? Everybody knows.
If Sting came out
Come
tonight,
on.
like
Sting, he's gonna be up in the rafters.
Oh my gosh.
What
It's
else
like
is going on?
1990 again. I'm so
I mean, if
excited.
Sting doesn't,
Sign me up.
and here's the thing is like they took all of Sting's stuff off the website, which then everybody was like, "Oh my god, Sting's gonna show up with Darby Allin at AEW," which that never happened. But it is fun
I
to
never
look
even knew
at,
that.
like the rumors of like who's gonna show up, and it's like, okay, it's Survivor Series, it's Undertaker's 30th, going away party, Sami Zayn, going back to it, Sami Zayn's not gonna win. Bobby Lashley's gonna win. Somehow the Hurt Business is going to get involved. Maybe MVP. I don't know. But
Let me ask you this. What if Sami Zayn gets involved with The Undertaker as one of the people that run in? And not that it matters because Undertaker would destroy him anyway. But what if he's one of those guys that does that? I saw a couple of tweets earlier today where people were saying, who do you think is going to interfere during the Undertaker segment? And a few people said Sami Zayn.
Did anyone say Elias?
Elias. Okay.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard Elias. I didn't even think of Elias, but that would be, well, that's typical fodder though, because he did that with Cena or Austin at Mania, like it was, or The Rock or whatever. Like he seems like the typical guy that would get messed up by the Undertaker, thrown into the wolves in that case.
So I'm sitting here watching this battle royal right now because it's on TV, and I'm still baffled by this storyline because like right now, the three that came out, it's Rey Mysterio, his music hit, and it's Rey, Dominic, and Buddy Murphy all walking together to the ring. Like, okay, first of all, it's extremely creepy that they continue to hit on Rey Mysterio's daughter saying she's 19 and Buddy's like 30. Like, bro, that's creepy. Like, this is like when Vince McMahon tried to make out with Stephanie back in the Attitude Era. Like, we get that she is
not quite the same,
but it's there. But it's like
The creep factor's there. Yes.
It's like they hit it every time. Remember, Rey Mysterio's daughter's 19 and Buddy Murphy's like this old, and it's like, so the battle royal is like all these people in there. And so the Mysterios, they got music and entrance. The Miz is coming in with his thing. But I'm just like looking at it and it's like, okay, well, there's still no Titus in this, by the way. There's no Titus O'Neil in the battle royal, which I'm surprised because that's his thing, is he's always in the battle royals that are like the pre-show stuff. And there's John Morrison wearing red outfit just like the Miz. Interesting stuff. But yeah, so let's continue to move on. We'll talk about the men's Survivor Series. You've got AJ Styles, Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, Riddle, Matt Riddle, whatever, Sheamus versus Team SmackDown, which is Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Otis, King Corbin, and Kevin Owens. Now, I was really, really kind of pissed off about this because it was like, okay, there's two members that need to fill out the SmackDown team. Who could it be? Well, here's Big E, who has been phenomenal, who hasn't lost a match since his singles push. And then it's like, who do we want to put in there? Let's put in Otis, a guy that has lost pretty much every single thing since his singles match. He also lost the Money in the Bank, which that's still another thing that I'm trying to figure out of why they gave him the Money in the Bank contract. And then it's like, we're putting Otis in. No offense to Otis, but why? Why Otis?
And what are they doing with Big E? What's
Exactly.
he doing?
His exit. Could this be? Because I mean, I read things and heard things, and Otis was the reason they took the Money in the Bank off of him and pushed him was they just were done with him. They weren't. Vince wasn't into him anymore. Could this be his annihilation? Could he be the first one gone in that match and forgotten ever after that? First one gone. No one ever heard of him after that.
I think it's really sad what they've done with Heavy Machinery. You know, Otis is in this match. People don't want him to be in this match. And then Tucker is jobbing on Raw, or SmackDown. It's really sad. And like you mentioned earlier, Battle, they need tag teams. And then breaking up Heavy Machinery, it puts like a question mark in your head.
Yeah, and it's you looked at how over when there was fans in the crowd. You looked at how over like Heavy Machinery was. Like that was it. And then, Otis, dating Mandy, and that shows that like, oh, the average guy can get, the pretty girl or whatever. So that made wrestling fans believe that. And it's like, you looked at the Money in the Bank contract match, and you look at how everybody was. And of course, somehow Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio survived the falling off the building. They showed up at Raw the next night. But it's like, okay, the logical person who I think they should have given it to was AJ Styles. If anybody in that match was going to get it, it would have been AJ Styles. And it's like, why did you give it to Otis? Like, you knew he was never going to beat Drew McIntyre. You knew he was never going to beat Roman. Like, nobody's going to beat Roman. Let's be honest. There's nobody that's going to beat Roman. Even The Rock at Hollywood WrestleMania next year, which everybody's calling for right now. The Rock still won't beat Roman next year. So who's Otis going to beat? And then they were like, oh, well, Otis is going to cash it in on the tag team titles. Never did that. So unless they're going to give him another push for something, Otis is going to be one of what CBS Sports called it, a mid-card champion by himself.
I hate that for him too, because I've liked him ever since he debuted with Heavy Machinery, and I hate to see what they're doing to him.
It's rough, and it is kind of funny that I'll sit there and we'll watch it, and my 3-year-old gets excited and he sees Otis and he's like, Dad, and I'm like, no, that's not me.
Savage.
I was like, nope, that's not me. Which, by the way, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm watching the Battle Royal, which is WWE's got the pre-show going on right now. Why is Dolph Ziggler wrestling in a backwards flat bill hat?
Why am I not shocked?
Poor Dolph Ziggler, man. Like, he was the guy, and he had so much potential, and he never stayed safe. He was always hurt.
Yeah, he got lost in the sauce a lot. Poor him.
I mean, I thought there was a little bit of potential in Raw Underground, but that went away. So,
Well, I am going for Team Raw in this match here because I am a Keith Lee fan. He's limitless. Come on, Keith Lee. That's my boy.
I will say this: Riddle will be the first one out tonight.
Oh yeah.
I hope so.
I don't like him. I don't care for him. I think his gimmick sucks, and it annoys me. I don't like him.
Well, the fact that Sheamus called him dopey was probably the best thing in the world. But I mean, yeah, you look at who's on there, and it's like, okay, well, first of all, Riddle's going because then you've got Styles, Braun, Keith, and Sheamus left, and then SmackDown, Seth Rollins, Jay, Otis, Corbin, and Kevin Owens. So I think if I think this is how it's going to go, I'm going to say Riddle is first for Raw. Corbin's going to go first for SmackDown. Then then it's going to be tough after that because it's like who eliminates who. I think Braun probably will eliminate Otis. And I think we finally kind of get the in-ring of AJ and Seth that everybody keeps talking about wanting. Excuse me. But I think at the end of the night of the match, I want to say that Jay is going to be the last one standing. And then he's going to lose. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Jay's going to lose, which then is going to piss Roman off. Because he's already been having this heat with him about, Jay trying to interfere with him and help him out and all this other stuff. So he's going to lose the match for SmackDown. Roman's going to go off on him or whatever. And I'll save part of this for when we talk about Roman and Drew McIntyre match. So we'll come back to what I'm thinking about Jay's going to happen. But I think it'll come down as much as SmackDown has been pushing Jay over the past several weeks, which by the Roman and Uso storyline has been phenomenal. Like
Oh,
it
Yeah.
has been
Yes.
amazing. But I
Agreed.
think it comes down to, Jay being the last one left. And I think it could come down to AJ Styles being the last one left.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
can see Keith Lee being the last one left.
yeah.
He
I
was
hope
was last year when he was the last one left, right? It was him and Roman. Last year, I think, was he the last one left? Maybe.
He was one of the
Mhm.
last ones. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of the last ones.
Which I really wish they would have put NXT in this Survivor Series, because last year was amazing. But
Man.
there's really nothing exciting if like Team Raw wins the Survivor Series or SmackDown wins the Survivor Series match, because it's like, what do you get?
What if Retribution gets involved here?
Oh,
Good
It kind of-
point.
yeah, it somehow kills them both. It
I
just says,
Yeah.
forgot all about Retribution. But they're
Yeah.
kind of Raw, so I mean, which is another weird
they
thing.
don't care. They'll do whatever they want. They don't care.
I mean, I do think though, when they tried to figure out the names of the Retribution, it was the names that didn't make it into WWE 2K20 create a character. Those were like the nicknames that didn't make it. So they're like, well, we're gonna call you Slapnuts or Slap whatever his name.
Whatever it is, Slapjack or Slap Chop. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like I think who was the one that left? Was it Martinez? She
Yeah.
was like, nah, I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
not doing this. I'm going back to
She's
NXT.
smart. She's smart.
I think that was her thing. She was like, she saw this. And she was like, nah, I'm gonna go back to NXT. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun being on Raw for a couple of weeks and destroying stuff. But I'm actually gonna wrestle. I'm gonna be me, not broken, shattered glass, whatever.
Yeah.
Yim's name is. And,
Well, I know some people are wondering if this is going to lead to writing Seth Rollins out of the picture, since Becky's going to give birth here soon. So I wonder if something will happen with that, or they just don't do anything and he'll just disappear.
I really thought he was going to be written out the other night when Buddy Murphy beat him. Because let's be honest, like that storyline between Seth and Buddy and Rey Mysterio dragged out way too long.
I'm over it. So over it.
Absolutely.
But it just, the eye for the eye match, and they were like, oh man, the eyeball's going to come out, and blah, blah, blah. It was just like, you saw like a
An
little
eyeball.
an eyeball, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that was kind of boring.
Those poor steps. Those poor steps.
Yeah. And then when he threw up, it's like, oh God.
That was
That
so
was
random.
probably the most realest thing of the match was Seth Rollins throwing up. That was it. No CGI needed for that bad boy.
So gross.
But yeah, it's. I thought that could have been the way that they eliminate him. I feel, I don't know. I have a feeling that Seth will probably at least stick around and let Buddy be like the guy that sends him out.
Yeah.
And then maybe they do the wedding on WWE SmackDown, and Buddy marries
I
Rey
will not be
Mysterio's
tuning
daughter.
in.
Eric Bischoff comes back and officiates the wedding and pulls the face off, or Seth Rollins is whatever. I don't know, but you can see that's what they're eventually going to have. It's going to happen.
They should have.
Nothing ever goes wrong when there's a wedding in WWE. Ever. Nothing ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
They should have had Ray still have only one eye and just like told Murphy, like, I have my eye on you. That's it.
That's the best. WWE's going to steal that line from you. I guarantee it. But yeah, that dragged on to way too long. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see though what the final thing is, as I watch The Miz just literally kick the piss out of Dominic Mysterio's face right now.
Oh no.
But so kind of looking at I guess this is the main event of the night, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. What's everybody's thoughts on this one?
It's weird because when they faced off last year, I was so over it. They faced off like 3 or 4 times and it was getting old. And now this time, different circumstances, I'm really excited for it, but I am so in the middle on this. Drew just got his title back on Monday, so why would he lose the match? And Roman is on fire right now. Everyone is a fan of Roman, so why would they have him lose? So I don't know. Maybe a cash in?
You know what? This might be where Undertaker comes in. Comes in
I
and
thought Randy Orton might even if Orton makes an appearance in the match, something, because it just seemed like you said it's too new for McIntyre to kind of lose when he's on top from just winning. And Roman, well, why should Roman lose? Because he's Roman Reigns. So you got to do a run in this match. There's not going to be a winner in this one.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like decisive, like one person winning.
No.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm going to go back to my Survivor Series match with Jay. So Jay loses a Survivor Series match, right? Yeah. So he comes down to the ring thinking, oh, I'm going to help out Roman, I'm going to help him win the match. He's struggling against Drew, blah, blah, blah. And he, somehow maybe cost Roman the match, or Roman gets distracted, because you can't have Roman and Drew both lose. Like, Drew just won the title back, which is still a weird thing, is like you have Randy Orton win it and then drops it 3 weeks later, unless you're going to where, I'm going to talk about your man here in a second. Unless you're going to Randy versus John Cena and you continue this match going forward to where one of them finally breaks Ric Flair's streak. Can that happen? You give Randy a thing because there's all the rumors online of Randy versus Edge again at WrestleMania. But, do you bring back Cena to do the thing with Randy if he gets the title?
I would hope so. Let's bring him back. Why not?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, super fast Space 9 Furious and whatever is coming back soon. So, The Rock and Cena's going to have to, promote it. So it's probably going to drop sometime around WrestleMania Hollywood. So then that sets up Roman and Rock as the head of the tribe. And then, if Randy Orton has the title, but it's like, if that happens, do you give John Cena the title, or do you let Randy break the record of Ric Flair?
Oh man, you're going to have Randy break the record? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. I mean, you could
like that
record all day. But I don't know.
I feel like they would go more for John Cena. In my opinion,
they would expect Cena to wrestle unless they put him like on a Brock Lesnar schedule.
And it's like, does Cena want to come back to do that? We still have questions of who won the Cena versus Bray Wyatt match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, right.
Is Cena still lost in the deep abyss? I mean, we never saw him
in the Firefly Funhouse.
But I mean, maybe he shows up there. It's not like Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black showing back up the next night after getting thrown off the WWE building. So how do you bring Cena back after he just completely disappeared at the end of the match,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that they could do. But I don't know, Randy. Yeah, he don't do that to Randy. You can have Charlotte break her dad's record. And I think that's why they had that back and forth a while back between Sasha and Charlotte, being champ for Raw. So they could have her get closer to breaking that title reign, because Charlotte was winning the championship every other week.
I think, and that could have been the best thing to do, to be completely honest. I think that's what should have happened, because then you could have had that whole situation where Charlotte was like, you're nothing to me, talking to Ric Flair. You're never there. You never did this. That could have been the perfect time to be like the big, middle finger to her dad. Well, you couldn't hack it. I beat your record. Blah, blah, blah. That way it's still Flair as a record holder. Because it is going to be a tough decision when it comes down to it of who beats Flair's record for the world title. Is it going to be Cena? Is it going to be Orton? Because those are your two front runners. And it's like Orton, who's been there, nonstop. And then Cena, who is kind of going back and forth because he's doing Hollywood and stuff like that. So it's like, do you give it to Cena, who, went in and was like, had real heat with The Rock coming back as a part-timer winning the title. So then Cena comes back and wins the title as a part-timer. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah. And Orton, he's always been a heel. So, and Cena's the face. And I've never liked Randy Orton. I don't know. I haven't. I don't like his dude, his theme song. Oh my God. That gets stuck in my head. I hear voices.
I will say, speaking of
Stand
theme songs, I did have Drew McIntyre "When Is Broken Dreams Coming Back" as his theme song the other day on the show when he called in, and his exact words were, "I want to bring it back for a special occasion."
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
So I was like, well, any time is a good time. I mean, let's bring back Broken Dreams. I mean, I dig the new theme song.
you should have asked him to specify what big moment meant to him. Like Christmas, like is a special moment. Thanksgiving.
That's right.
But it's just, and it is awesome to see, Drew getting finally what he deserves. I mean, the fact that he came in being like, Vince was like, "You're the guy, blah, blah, blah." And then he fizzled out, went into 3MB, and then, eventually got cut, went down to Impact, dominated Impact, and then came back and like busted his butt to get back to where he is now. And I mean, the fact that he beat Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes at WrestleMania, 5 minutes, Brock Lesnar.
And the fact that he took him out at the Royal Rumble, like I was not the biggest Drew fan before that moment. And then that moment happened. I was like, oh my God, now Drew McIntyre did it? No, like this cemented Drew McIntyre for me as a top guy.
Yeah. And of course, Drew winning the title during a pandemic and, not having that WrestleMania moment. I know that kind of sucks that, you didn't get to be there in front of 100,000 people winning that title, but instead you're there in front of millions of people watching, which makes it a little bit more special because it's not going to be an asterisk in the record book of him winning that title when he did. But it's going to be fun to watch Roman and Drew go at it because Roman, for some odd reason, I don't know if maybe it's Heyman now that he's with Heyman, but Roman's promos have gotten 10 times better.
Yes.
With his heel turn.
Absolutely because of Heyman. Come on.
You remember how bad his promos were when he was like talking to John Cena and he would like stutter over his own words, and I'm like, no,
it was bad. And
terrible.
Like, this is, we've all been critical of Roman. Like, everybody has been like, I don't like Roman. I don't want to say everybody's hated Roman, but everybody has disliked Roman. Now he's got this new heel mentality. Like, it's crazy good how he is. I mean, and then you pair him up with Paul Heyman and just the promos that he's been cutting, and then the storyline with the Usos, and it's like, I'm waiting for, and I was kind of hoping this, but then you got to figure out who's the fourth Uso to come in if you did a Survivor Series match. But I was thinking maybe you do like a Samoan Dynasty team in here, but because you got Jacob Fatu, but he's over at I think he's in MLW. So it's like, who do you bring in to be that member, or Roman just like, I'm the big dog, I can do whatever, so we'll just be with us three kind of thing. And I think if you continue to do this, you can have that kind of a match next year. Also, shout out to Vinay, who is saying shout out to the Battleground podcast. He drew some awesome artwork for us, so definitely check that out. But I mean, this is a tough one to decide who wins the match. You can't have, no offense to Drew, if he's watching this, he probably's not. But anyways, no offense to Drew, and we didn't want to tell this to him on the show the other day. He's not going to win. I'm going to get hot take. Drew's not going to win.
He's not going to win. He's going to lose.
He's not going to lose either, because I really feel that this match does end in a no disqualification. Whether Roman snaps and, hits him with a chair or whatever, or maybe now that Roman, which is still odd that Roman has a submission move as a finisher where he makes people tap. I think maybe Drew's like, I don't give up, blah, blah, blah. So maybe Roman puts him in that thing and just Drew passes out. Kind of like how they did with Karrion Kross and Moss Ciampa. I always say his name wrong. Like back at NXT when he's made him pass out on the title. But maybe that could be the thing.
Yeah, I could totally see that, because That's not going to make me disappointed, but I don't know.
I'm eager to see. I'll be happy either way.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. But now we've kind of gone through everything that we've talked about Survivor Series is starting on the WWE Network. So before we say goodbye, everybody throw out your social media. We'll start one by one, and we'll go with Lo, then we'll go with Lena, then we'll go with Iridian, and then we'll round it off with our special guest, Josh the Wrestling Guru.
Special, yes, special. Woo!
So you can find Wrestling Wind Down on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. We dropped 2 episodes this weekend that you can find on all of your favorite streaming platforms.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lana Del Beer. That's LANADELBEER. And if you like beer, follow. If you like horror, follow me too. Yay.
You can find the Rest Friends podcast anywhere that you listen to your podcast. And we also have a YouTube channel, and on all social media platforms, you can find us at Rest Friends.
And to round it off, our special guest, Josh.
Well, as I'm sitting in front of the Best Buy in Christiana, Delaware, picking up a Nintendo Switch that I bought today, which, by the way, is a madhouse, I'll be watching Survivor Series on my phone, and you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Josh M, the letter M, like Main Events Radio, Josh M Radio.
There it is. And of course, you could follow the Battleground Podcast. We're on Instagram, Battleground Podcast. Is Battleground IR. We try Battleground Pod, but some wrestling, or not wrestling, some rap cipher has it, and they haven't been activated in like 6 years. So I tried to buy it, and they didn't answer back. But yeah, Battleground IHR is our Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, everywhere you can find us. Just make sure you subscribe to all these amazing podcasts you've heard. And of course, I believe maybe possibly depending on how the show goes at the end of the night, we might record a post show of kind of like breaking down the night. And if we don't do that tonight, we'll do it tomorrow. But thank you for everybody for joining the show. We will definitely do this again. And it has been so much fun. And well, that's it. I don't have any